Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Second Passport. Today I'm going to share how the locals are looking for the best priced apartment and house rentals here in Ecuador entering 2023. I'm doing this video because a subscriber asked this question, so it's me answering. If you got a question for me, after you hit the subscribe button, of course, go ahead and leave your question for me about maybe Ecuador or living or investing abroad in the comments below, and I'll take a look and see if I can answer it for you in one of these short vids. To find the best priced rentals, right, and not the gringo prices per se, you have to look for rentals the way the locals look for rentals in their local language, Spanish. Luckily, both languages as far as the written word goes are pretty similar and pretty understandable, right? So you can look for what's available and make that initial contact without knowing all that much Spanish. I'll show you what I mean today. And then you might want to maybe hire a friend to help you by the hour who speaks a little Spanish to help you kind of close the deal. That's what I personally would do. If you try to go through realtors, obviously it's going to be a lot more expensive that way, and they're obviously going to try to steer you to their listings, right? Not necessarily the best deals. So anyway, let's take a look at this. Okay, so when I first moved here, about 10 years ago, more or less, the way the locals looked for the best price deals, real estate deals, both for rent and sale, was through the classified sections of the local newspapers, especially in the main cities like Quito, Cuenca, and Guayaquil. In Quito, it was El Comercio, in Guayaquil, El Universo, and in Cuenca, it's a few like El Mercurio and a few others that had pretty solid, well-supplied, updated classified sections that you could also access online. This was the best way to look maybe like 10 years ago. Now, a lot of these papers to this day still have classified sections, but just a few weeks ago, just out of curiosity, I bought one here in Quito, and even on a Sunday, the listings are so few and far between, it's not even worth buying the paper for the classified section anymore, nor going online. This way of looking has been kind of out for several years now with the locals here in Ecuador. And then about 5 years ago, there was this website, OLX, that kind of took the reins from the newspapers, and everybody was publishing pretty much all their items for sale and rent here on this site. It was like an online classified site, kind of like a Craigslist, and it was really popular for a few years. But you can see now OLX has even closed down here in Ecuador. It's not even available anymore. So besides OLX, maybe like 5 to 7 years ago, Mercado Libre was also a good place. You could sometimes find property for sale and rent. It's kind of like the eBay version here in Ecuador. But over the last several years, 2, 3, 4 years or so, believe it or not, Facebook has took over as the main way people promote themselves and their products online here in Ecuador. Facebook Marketplace, to be specific. It's a tab over on the left-hand side of the screen here once you log into Facebook. And once you're in the marketplace, you have to choose the destination where you're interested in looking. That's very important, right? So go ahead and choose the destination. I put Cuenca here as an example, right? But around 20 kilometers from Cuenca. You could also look like in Gualaceo or wherever. And then once you're in the location that you want to look at, you don't have to be physically in the location to look at different locations. You can then just type the keywords in Spanish. Like if you're looking for an apartment, you want to use departamento. That's what they say down here. En arriendo is the words for rent, is the most common words that you'll see. And then you can scroll through, and there's just a ton of listings. You can organize them by price. You can sort them by price and date listed if you just want to see the new listings. For example, often those tend to be the best deals, right? Because these, especially on the cheaper end of rentals in Ecuador, Cuenca, Quito, Guayaquil, and well-located ones, they tend to go pretty quick. So You can start looking when you're still abroad to kind of get an idea of the market, but I would definitely not rent anything until you're here in Ecuador. So you might get a few numbers before arriving, but I would just say rent a hotel room or an Airbnb until you find something that you like. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these, as you see here in the pictures of these lower price rentals saying around 250, 300, 350 a month, chances are they're unfurnished. So that's going to be another burden for you, possibly if you go on the super low end when renting. Now, if you look a little closely, you might be able to find one that's furnished and go from there. But this is by far the best way to search for rentals here in Ecuador at this time. So there you go. I'm Mr. Second Password. If you like that, don't subscribe and hit the like button below. Take care.